Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I want to show you some native seeds that I have ordered from Prairie Moon, and I also want to talk a bit about the plans for the garden for next year. I have been doing some work in the garden outside and filming the process, and I'll post more detailed updates soon, but I just wanted to kind of catch you guys up on everything that's going on. Also, if you have watched the last video where I was trying to preserve my turmeric harvest, I made a turmeric bug, which is a starter to make wild sodas, and I want to say that I have started making some wild sodas already. I want to show you guys how it looks like, but before I post a video on that and how to make the wild sodas, I want to test a few recipes first and see how things work, because it's my first time doing, so I want to make sure that I put something in there that's actually good. It might take a few weeks for that because the fermentation process itself takes some time. So yesterday I have made a turmeric and ginger one, and I'm happy to announce that this one is already bubbling. I have just started the process yesterday and added the turmeric bug. Within one day, I already see bubbles. I have also made two other flavors here that are not fizzy yet because I just got excited and did this a little bit earlier today. This one is a ginger cranberry honey. I made it with ginger tea and some cranberry infused honey that I had in the fridge. And then I have this one that's turmeric, ginger, and blood orange because I had an orange here I wanted to use. So lots of exciting things going on in here, but I will report back and let you guys know once I have successfully made all of this work and got some good recipes to share with you guys. Okay, now let's talk about some seeds. So if you notice here, it says open immediately. So I did as soon as I got in here because I had some seeds that had to be refrigerated. So it's open already, but I just took out the packages that needed to go in the fridge, which I have in here. And then we're gonna go over the other ones here too. We're gonna start with these, and the first things that I have here are a phlox, a perennial phlox that is native. And I like that these packages come with a picture too, so you can see the color and the shape and all of that. And I'm gonna read more into the germination requirements before I started. It comes with a little booklet that tells you all the germination codes and stuff, because sometimes native seeds can be a bit trickier to germinate or just need some special treatment. I also got two more other things in here that you guys are probably gonna laugh because this is gonna be very hard for me to do it, but I wanna try it anyway. I got some native elderberry seeds, and apparently this can take up to 2 years to germinate, but I am determined to try to germinate a few of them. And then I also have an American cranberry bush that I could also try to plant some around the pond. Again, I'm going to read all the requirements for everything in a couple weeks, and we're going to do a more detailed plan together, but I just wanted to show you guys what my mind is going with all of this. So these three are probably going to be the ones that are going to be a bit trickier for me and harder to germinate. But these other ones, I'm planning to plant a lot of them along the pond in some shaded areas of the garden too. I have some varieties in here that are also shade tolerant. But first I want to show you this little germination codes booklet. If you have never ordered from Prairie Moon before, which I have never, it's my first time, but I'll link them in the description down below. So they give you some tips on how to germinate everything that you get, which is cool. And then there's some, apparently there's some codes here that will have on the seed, and you can just read that and follow the instructions to get your seeds germinated. So very excited to start learning about all of that. And now let's go to the fun part of seeing everything that I got. So I've got quite a few packages in here, and the prices are very affordable too. I got these each package for about $3, and some were on sale for less than that. So the first one I have here is this one called Rattlesnake Master, which is the Eryngium. Not sure if you guys have seen this, but I've seen many flower farmers that I follow. They have this blue spiky flower, so it's the same variety, but this one is white, and they're supposed to be super beneficial for pollinators, so I'm excited to grow that. And then after that we have the one that I actually went to the website for. This is the New England Aster. I do have some native asters here around the pond already, but none of them are very bright purple. I think the ones I have here are New York asters in a different variety that I'm not sure, a white, little white one. But I wanted to get this nice bigger showier one to plant along with the goldenrod. And then I also got this tall ironweed. I have personally never grown this before, but I've seen it in gardens and I think it's really beautiful. I also got some blue vervain that I thought was going to be very pretty as well, with this long purple spikes. And this is going to be my first time growing this one too. And this is called here Culver's root. Culver's root, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but it's a species of Veronica, and I think this is the native variety, not the showy ones that you get at the nurseries, but I wanted to see how the original one, the native one, looked like before I get some of the other cultivated species. I also got some Pearly Everlasting. This one I've been eyeing for a very long time. They look like mini straw flowers. I watch a lot of flower farming channels that I got a little obsessed with flowers after growing the flowers for my wedding, but I also enjoy watching those channels because they're beautiful. You know, it's just so beautiful to see all those flowers growing together. It always makes me feel good, so I kept watching them. But lots of them grow this. Then we have this one here that's called New Jersey Tea. I don't think I've ever seen this plant. If I seen it, I didn't know what it was. It's a perennial. Actually, almost everything that I have here is a perennial, I believe. If not, I'll correct myself once I'm planting them. I'm planting this solely mainly for the pollinators. I'm not sure if it will be okay for me to, you know, cut it and use in some arrangements that I like to make for the house. We'll see how that's going to turn out this year. I also got some sundial lupin. I really like the color of this one too. So excited to plant all that. And this, I think it's good with part shade, so I can plant in some of the shady areas too. Lots of these are also deer resistant because I have a lot of deer in here. Even with the fence, they have been getting in. So it says here in the package, and lots of them, if they're deer resistant or not. And a lot of these ones are. So hopefully that works. And most of them are pollinator friendly. So this one, I'm very, very excited. It looks super cute. This little, I don't know, bell-shaped flowers, and this one can be planted in full shade, says here. So I'm gonna put this everywhere. I think that 500 seeds in here. I'm gonna attempt to start all 500 of them and spread them all over the property. So I also got some mist flower. This looks like ageratum to me. I'm not sure if it's the same thing. Please let me know in the comment section down below if it is. And two more left. I have some river oats. Sometimes those are also called northern sea oats, and I plan to plant this along the pond and also along the river that we have running back here in our yard. We had a drought here for a few months, and finally we're having rain and snow again, and our pond, actually the water level has significantly increased and the river in the back started flowing again. But I want to plant this along the edges because I read that's very good for erosion control, so we're gonna do that. And I read that these oats are edible too, so we might try to make something with that as well. But this is a very aggressive spreader, so be careful if you plant in the landscape, because we have so much space in here and I'm just introducing a native species to an area that they like to grow. I'm okay if they spread, so I'm not worried, but I will try to harvest some seeds to maybe prevent the spread so much, and maybe we can try to eat them. That would be very cool. And then last but not least, we have sweet Joe Pye weed. This one can also be planted in full shade, and if I'm not mistaken, this is the variety that grows very tall. I seen this when I was in North Carolina last year, and I thought they were so beautiful. They smell wonderful, and they were full of butterflies when I saw them. So I really hope that I can attract some butterflies by planting them here too. And these are the ones that I have in my order. You might notice there was no echinacea or milkweed in here because I already have those seeds. I have some butterfly weed and some of the swamp milkweed, the pink one, that I plan to start and plant around the property as well. I also have goldenrod that's already growing abundantly all over the pond, so that's fine, that's good. And I have a lot of echinacea seeds too. I have some echinacea, the pink, classic pink echinacea, and I also have the cream variety that I harvested my own seeds from the plot that came in a mix, but the two came to be the same color, this beautiful cream-ish light color, and I love them. Oh my gosh, I love them. They're so beautiful, and I love cutting them and then bringing them to the home too. So once they died and I went to the plot to clean up last time, I harvested their seeds. So hopefully you're gonna have lots of that all over the place too. And on top of that, I still have Rudbeckia or Black-eyed Susan. I have collected seeds from my Rudbeckias that I had growing the plot this year too. And all of the varieties that I had in there, I had the beautiful Indian Summer that I loved. There was this huge, amazing flower, and I can already see how beautiful that's going to look around the pond. And I also got some seeds from the one that's called Rudbeckia triloba, or brown-eyed Susan, more commonly known. I love that one too. It grows in the spray. And I had one that I transplanted here that brought it with us that survived, and hopefully will come back next year. But I have some seeds from that, and I also have seeds from the Sahara Rudbeckia that I have grown there too. So Super exciting. Hopefully you're gonna have lots of native flowers around to support our local ecosystem here. And I am also planning to plant many other things along with that. We have started working our vegetable garden in the backyard. I'm planning to keep working on it through the winter. And before I share more of the garden plans, I'm going to just put this back in the fridge real quick. Back to the vegetable garden. I have done quite of a quick drawing of the way that I would like the beds to be. So if you see here, the square part is where we have all the wood chips down. And then we're going to have this bed that's like a E, so it's all connected, hopefully. So I have a lot of soil in there, and I have 2 pathways here with the wood chips. This whole area is covered with wire mesh underneath because my landlady said that we have lots of groundhogs and shrews, I think, and even or other things that actually dig from the underneath and eat their plants. She has been gardening here for many years, and she has advised me that she only had success with growing when she did fenced it over or added a mesh of metal underneath. We are also very close to Harriman State Park here, so there's lots of wildlife to visit our property. So she just said that if we wanted to have a good harvest for ourselves, we should protect at least the vegetable garden area. And that's how I'm going to start. We're going to start with a small area, which will be these beds. So I'm thinking to probably start with a spring garden here and then eventually see where I'm going to plant my summer crops. I'd love to try to plant them behind the pond, but more on that coming later. For now, we're gonna focus on the things that I have already prepared, and I wanted to talk about too the long no-dig beds that I have prepared next to the pond. So these ones, I have a little drawing of it here. If you guys remember, 2 long ones and 2 smaller ones. Here's the pond. These ones are going to be all flowers. Because it's my first time growing here, we have discovered that the soil here is really rocky. I was told that this place is called Rockland County for a reason, so now I have learned the hard way. It's been very hard for me to dig. So because flowers are a bit lower maintenance than vegetables, and also we have the very strong wildlife pressure, I want to do flowers in there. Lots of these are going to be cut flowers because I have so many seeds for it already, and I also want to try to make this place beautiful and very colorful. Most of these wildflowers here are going to be planted along the pond, which is huge, so I can put lots of flowers in there, and I want to tuck it in into the sides of the house where it's shady and by the next to the bamboo patch behind here around the river too. So we're gonna have plenty of space to plant these on too. But on these reserved areas, I like to do cut flowers, and because I get a little sad in the winter, not gonna lie, I'm already kind of feeling a little, the pressure of low light and not having a lot of things going around me, starting to already kind of affect my mental health a bit. So all that I can think about is early spring flowers. So because of that, I am going to plant some ranunculus and some anemones in here because I know that those bloom early, and I'd love to have some early blooms to enjoy first thing in the garden. And this 2 over here, I'm probably gonna do 1 hole with cool flowers, and if I have enough seeds, I'll do a second row too, and we'll see about the warm season flowers later in the season. Unfortunately, because my ground is so rocky, I don't know what I'm going to plant my dahlias. I first wanted to plant the dahlias here, but I really don't know if I can dig 6 inches deep in the way that the beds are right now. So I might have to, flip the soil a little bit after things have kind of slightly decomposed more there, and hand pick the rocks and just do that for 1 year. And then moving on, it won't be so rocky. But I don't know. For now, I'm not planning to plant dahlias in here yet. This might change through the season depending on how much work I can get done there. But I now have to find a place to put them, because even though I didn't have as many tubers as I thought I would, I still have a lot of them. And then we went to the old apartment where my previous landlord also allowed me to garden, and I had all my dahlias that I grew from seed in there. I collected a bunch of the tubers there too. So I now also have those that I could plant around, but those I'm going to probably plant in the landscape and around the pond too, and whenever I find that I can dig it and I have enough sunshine, because we do have a lot of tall mature trees in this property too, which gives a lot of shade, and our super sunny spots are limited. All right, so now I'm just going to give one more quick update before I sign out. We have received a giant load of free wood chips. My husband Danny is a teacher in a school that has a garden, and he got some free wood chips in there, and the same guy said that he could give some free wood chips for us here. So we got this massive load of wood chips, and we decided to work on it right away because it was going to rain the next few days, which is now raining, and then it's going to freeze and get to the low 20s for 3 to 4 days. So we're afraid that if we had left this huge pile in there and it got wet, then got below freezing temperatures for some sustained days, the whole thing would freeze and we wouldn't be able to work with it. So we worked really hard this weekend to try to spread these wood chips around. And let me tell you, if you have never worked with moving wood chips before, that's hard work, okay? I was not prepared, I guess. I have moved a small amount here and there helping people, but then this massive amount, just shoveling, moving around, just made us like, we got so tired. It was obviously very rewarding. We got a lot done and we added wood chips to most of the areas where we thought we would add, but we just got exhausted and my body's still sore from it, which is crazy, but it's cool too, it's good. But I'm glad that we're able to do everything that we wanted. So we decided to spread them out all below large maple trees and sort of make and cover all of the soil in there. A lot of the roots of those maple trees were exposed and it's very shady in there, so I wouldn't be able to really do a garden anyway. And because we had a drought, we didn't want to have so much lawn, have like so much grass in this property. We wanted to cover like a big portion of it, and wood chips are good at retaining moisture. So we thought that instead of water thirsty lawn, we can just put some thing there that will conserve the water a little bit and help, you know, with the health of the maple trees and stuff, hopefully. Because adding wood chips near trees and shrubs are also very beneficial because of the mycorrhizae, I never know how to say that properly, mycorrhizae relationship that can happen between them. And eventually those are also going to break down and become soil. So this is a very long-term project. Even though we're renting, we have in our hearts that we want to stay here for a few years. So we are going to work on things in here as if we're going to stay for a while. So with that in mind, and knowing that's not good to plant on fresh wood chips, we are actually adding that in there to plant the following year. So I'll let those wood chips rot there for a whole year. And then, depending if there's any soil, if you build anything below, I could plant some shade tolerant things in there too. And hopefully one day I can plant bulbs, because as I said before, it's very hard to dig. But we did add a very thick layer of wood chips, so eventually those are going to become soil as well. So with time, it would be very nice to add some colorful spring bulbs in there too, to have some joy early in the spring. All right, and that was most of the updates for today. I did order a few extra ranunculus corms for Black Friday. I couldn't hold myself. And some anemones on sale. I got 60 corms of anemones for like $10, but they're in the garage right now, and I'm going to show that to you guys later once I am ready to start planting my anemones and ranunculus, which I'm going to do in January. And I also plan to start sowing some seeds now in December. I'm a little behind already. I wanted to have started my pansies in the beginning of December, because last year I started them in January and they did great, but they were not flowering yet by the time I put them outside. They had maybe 1 or 2 flowers on them, and I talked to a farmer in the farmer's market at that time that said that I should start them earlier because they'll be okay in smaller cells, then they just keep producing some more blooms. That's how they have theirs, to get full of flowers early in the spring at the farmer's market so people buy them, can see the colors. So it's totally okay to start a month earlier, he said. So I'm going to try to do that. I'm not a month earlier, it was just 2 weeks earlier than I did last year, but it's okay. I hope to start doing that next week, which also would depend on me getting my grow rack all set up. There's so many things to do, but I love it though. Not gonna lie, as I said, I was starting to feel the sadness from the winter coming. Even though it feels like, oh, that's so much to do right now, I am excited to start getting all of these things done. We are not decorating the house for Christmas. I'm sure you guys are watching lots of content on Christmas stuff. Lots of the gardeners that I follow are decorating things, putting lights and making wreaths. Well, we're not gonna do that this year. We're just gonna take it easy, but I'm going to try to use that time and energy to start setting up for next growing season next year, because we're gonna have a lot of seeds to start. I'm super excited for that, and stay tuned. I still plan to do some cooking videos. I will post an update on the wild soda when it's ready, and hopefully do a little video tutorial once I get the hang of it. And I'm also planning to cook some Brazilian food next week because I'm feeling a bit homesick, so I might share that with you guys too. Every time I post a cooking video in here, I usually get a comment asking if I could also share Brazilian food. So I don't cook it as much because sometimes it's hard to find the ingredients, but I'm gonna go shopping specifically for it in the next few days, and hopefully I'll find everything and I'll show you guys how to make some Brazilian food as well this winter. So thank you so much for watching today. Let me know what your plans are for your garden next year. I'm so excited to start getting everything ready to go. I plan to do a more extensive garden plan video because I love planning. I love it in the winter, just makes me feel good thinking about the possibilities of the garden. And we have so much this year that we can work with, so I'm super excited for that. But that will come a little later because I really need to put some thinking into it, which is fine. I have the whole winter to do it. I'm probably am even going to start lots of seeds before I know where they're gonna go, because I know I want to plant them out anyway. And then keep working the plan all the way into spring when it's time to get things planted out. All right, thank you so much again, and I'll see you next time.